Web designing. All the websites that we visit every day to browse information are a part of an extensive process called web designing. In this course, you will be able to learn everything about web designing concepts that are going to help you build your career in web designing. You will learn what websites are and how to create them. This course will also cover information on the basics of designing like colors, fonts, and the look of your website. You will also learn to use popular web designing tools like Figma, Photoshop, Wix, Adobe Dreamweaver, WordPress, etc. You will also learn about the programming languages like JavaScript, jQuery, PHP, MySQL, and more. This course will also help you learn how to publish websites publicly. All the topics are sequentially structured to help you learn step by step. As you progress, you will explore the world of web designing. Learn, retain, and memorize everything that you can during the course. Various clients from different sectors such as healthcare, retail, economics, hospitality, fashion, e-learning, management, financial services, etc. approach a web designing agency or company to develop their websites. Right now, there are approximately 160 crores active websites in the world and around 450 crores of internet users. 2 out of 3 people prefer reading sites that are designed beautifully. This is where the designing part of the website comes in. The web designing industry has been growing a lot. A design has an influence on 75% on a website's credibility, and that's how important the role of a web designer is. The average starting salary for a web designer ranges from 15 to 20,000 rupees. After joining a company as a web designing professional, you will start getting industry exposure and earn money from your job. The salary range increases as you gain skills and experience. Currently, there are 4,000 plus web designer jobs on LinkedIn alone. A few vacancies to look at are Junior Web Designer, Website Designer, HTML CSS Designer, HTML Web Designer, etc. Let's aim at becoming a web designer by the end of this course. All the best!
Welcome learners. Let's begin a happy ride that makes learning knowledgeable and fun. When you click on a website, you see the beautiful colors and layout of the web page. It is the choice of basic design or layout, images, colors, and other factors that give these web pages such a lovely appearance. This session talks about the world of designing and begins with an introduction to the basics of design, shapes, and more. It then explains how the colored elements of a web page, such as backgrounds, etc., impact you. Then, it describes how texts and fonts form an integral part of your web page design. Following this, you learn about the color wheel and Adobe Color in detail. Moving ahead, you learn about the different color schemes and some examples of good color schemes. Finally, it sums up tips for choosing the correct colors for your website. So get, set, and create your website with the right choice of color.
Web designing. All the websites that we visit every day to browse information are a part of an extensive process called web designing. In this course, you will be able to learn everything about web designing concepts that are going to help you build your career in web designing. You will learn what websites are and how to create them. This course will also cover information on the basics of designing like colors, fonts, and the look of your website. You will also learn to use popular web designing tools like Figma, Photoshop, Wix, Adobe Dreamweaver, WordPress, etc. You will also learn about the programming languages like JavaScript, jQuery, PHP, MySQL, and more. This course will also help you learn how to publish websites publicly. All the topics are sequentially structured to help you learn step by step. As you progress, you will explore the world of web designing. Learn, retain, and memorize everything that you can during the course. Various clients from different sectors such as healthcare, retail, economics, hospitality, fashion, e-learning, management, financial services, etc. approach a web designing agency or company to develop their websites. Right now, there are approximately 160 crores active websites in the world and around 450 crores of internet users. 2 out of 3 people prefer reading sites that are designed beautifully. This is where the designing part of the website comes in. The web designing industry has been growing a lot. A design has an influence on 75% on a website's credibility, and that's how important the role of a web designer is. The average starting salary for a web designer ranges from 15 to 20,000 rupees. After joining a company as a web designing professional, you will start getting industry exposure and earn money from your job. The salary range increases as you gain skills and experience. Currently, there are 4,000 plus web designer jobs on LinkedIn alone. A few vacancies to look at are Junior Web Designer, Website Designer, HTML CSS Designer, HTML Web Designer, etc. Let's aim at becoming a web designer by the end of this course. All the best!
What is a design? Well, in everyday life, we come across different things. A building, a flower, a tree, a river, a painting, and many more things. They create a visual impact on our minds. We like some of them, wherein some of them fail to grab our attention. Every object, either natural or manufactured, has a fundamental thing in common. They all have some designs made up of simple elements like line, text, form, texture, color, and balance. These are the fundamental articles present in almost everything we see or create. Every visual medium, be it fine art or modern web design, follows the basic principle of designing. A design is a plan we implement in the form of a prototype, product, or process. It is the combination of consciously used elements to form an aesthetically beautiful and functional outcome. One of the vital elements in design is color. It plays a significant role in everyday life. Whatever we see or create has a definite color scale gradient or pattern. We will learn how to make color schemes using the color wheel. A proper color scheme creates a profound psychological impact on your website's visitors. Any text that we see on a website is an element of design. A proper font complements the website's overall design. Font should pair with your color scheme, graphics, and images to strengthen the overall tone of a website. Lines and angles are involved in almost every aspect of our daily lives. Whether we draw a building, the flow of a river, or carve a sculpture, we need a proper sense of straight and curved lines. The following essential elements are shapes. Learning about shapes helps in identifying and organizing visual information. A shape as a closed structure composed of lines joined at different angles. We are surrounded by two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes in real life. From the droplets of water to the roundness of earth, there are all possible types of shapes in nature. We will learn about geometric shapes like triangles, rectangles, squares, rhombus, hexagons, and many more basic shapes. The combination of these shapes makes almost all the objects we see or create in real life. We will gain an understanding of the layout of a website. A layout of a website is the arrangement of contents on the web page. The layout may vary according to the subject of the website design, but we should make sure that it is engaging. We will acquire knowledge of using appropriate images, icons, and videos in the website design. Powerful photos, icons, and videos make the information commute even faster. Let's start from the beginning with the essential elements of designing. The internet is a visual and psychological medium. Whatever you display on your website has a great psychological impact on your visitors and thus becomes your most important communication and sales tool. One of the most important aspects of psychology that is often overlooked is the appropriate usage of colors. Just as you use words to express your feelings, colors can be used to express what the website is about. According to research about colors and their impact, colors can be made to represent the feelings. Colors affect people both emotionally and psychologically on all levels. Some colors are so effective that they can control the blood pressure and normalize your breathing, increase pulse rate, etc. When you see different colors like red, orange, yellow, blue, etc., how do you react? Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Or does your heartbeat increase? Do you feel relaxed? Or get angry or agitated? You react to those colors depending upon the culture, religion, your upbringing, or your personality. Here is the list of colors which have been found to have a psychological impact on people. Red. It is associated with danger, love, passion, warning, action, adventure, etc. Blue. It is associated with success, calmness, power, professionalism, etc. Green. It is associated with money, nature, health, life, harmony, etc. Orange. It is associated with comfort, celebration, youth, etc. Purple. It is associated with royalty, justice, fantasy, dreams, etc. White. It is associated with simplicity, purity, cleanliness, innocence, etc. Yellow. It is associated with curiosity, cheerfulness, etc. Pink. It is associated with sweetness, softness, tenderness, etc. Brown. It is associated with nature, tribal or primitive, etc. Grey. It is associated with neutrality, reserved, indifference, etc. Black. It is associated with seriousness, darkness, mystery, etc. The background color of your website, the color of your header, text, headlines, subheadlines, etc. can all have a psychological impact on your visitors. If we think about how to match colors or color tone, then we have to know about color wheel, which was prepared and developed for the first time 300 years ago by Sir Isaac Newton. Color wheel represents the arrangement of colors on the spectrum based on their relationships. At the same time, helpful in creating color harmony too. If we look after the color wheel, then we get few more useful color schemes theories of color harmony. Depending upon the color placement of color wheel, mixing of two primary colors produces a secondary color. Like red and blue produces violet, yellow and red produces orange, whereas blue and yellow produces green. Similarly, mixing of two secondary colors in equal proportion produces a third-grade color called as tertiary color. Like mixing of green and orange will produce the yellowish green or olive color. Same way, mixing of one primary color and another secondary color also produces the tertiary color. This particular tool lets you choose color as per the color rule and latest trend in the industry. So let's have a look at it. You can simply go to any web browser and you can search for color.adobe.com. It loads a web application in your browser, which basically is by default set to create option. And here you can take and extract colors as per your choice. So let's first look at the color wheel option. So in the color wheel option, you can see that we are getting the option of a color wheel, where we can simply take up to 5 colors based on the selection on the color wheel. So if I move any of the points, you can see they are going to move along and all the other 4 points move. They are moving because we are taking colors as per the color harmony rule. Now, you might ask, what is a color harmony rule? So if you want to know more about the color harmony rules, you can simply go here and you can see the Adobe Color gives you a tool tip. The color rules ensure a harmonic balance of colors based on the colors you have set as a base color. And in the color harmony rules, you have various rules such as analogous, monochromatic. You have complementary, split complementary, double split complementary, square, compound, and shades. You can take and extract colors as per your choice. So, what are analogous colors? Analogous colors are those colors which are next to the color of your choice, or next to the point you have chosen on the color wheel. So you can see if I am selecting this yellow color, it shows you all the colors just next to that color. And if you move it around, you can see all the other 4 points move just next to it. So that is known as analogous colors. You can also take monochromatic colors. Monochromatic colors are those colors which give you the different shades and tints of the same hue. So we call these colors wheel and these colors as hues. And you can see if I'm selecting the red color or the orange color here, it's showing you the same color or the same hue, shades and the tints of it. And if I move it to any other place, let's say if I take to the green side, you can see we are getting all the different shades of green and the tints of green over here. So these are known as monochromatic colors. You can take triad colors, which are split into 3 lines on the color wheel. If I move my primary color, let's take cyan for example. You can see all the 3 dots are moving. So we can take triad colors like this. Then you can also take complementary colors. Complementary colors are opposite to each other on the color wheel. So if I'm taking yellow, you can see it's showing me a blue shade on the opposite side. If I go to red, you can see it's showing opposite of the red as green. And these are known as complementary colors. Complementary colors are very good if you want to create contrast in your designs. They are used a lot on background with the text. Usually, complementary colors should be used less in your design, as they can get lot of contrast in your design, and sometimes it could be too painful to the eyes of users. Then you can also take split complementary colors, which are basically similar to complementary colors, but now splitting that colors into 2 parts, as you can see. This is split complementary. And you can see now we are getting 2 colors of the green, which are the opposite to the red. Then we have a double split complementary here. In the double split complementary, you're not only getting the split complementary colors, but you're also getting the 2 analogous colors next to the color you have chosen. So if I move towards the yellow side backwards, you can see we are getting a combination of yellows to orange, and you're getting a combination from blue to pink on the color wheel here. Then you can also take colors in the square format, which simply divides the color wheel into the 4 equal parts and displays the colors on the extreme ends. So if I move it diagonally here, you can see I'm getting 5 very different colors. Then you have compound colors. Compound colors are those colors which are on opposite sides of the 180-degree line of the color wheel. If I move it towards the warm colors, so remember your color wheel on the right hand side is known as warm colors, and on the left hand side it is known as cool colors. So you can see currently I am seeing all the warm colors here, which I can pick in my color wheel, or I can move it again to the 180 degrees. And I can see all the cool colors in view. So compound colors are very good colors if you want to just divide your color wheel in 180 degrees and choose one side of the colors. Then we have the colors for the shades. And if you choose the shades, then you're going to see the single color shades. For example, if I go to the red, you can see all the shades of red. Now do not confuse the shades with the monochromatic. Remember, monochromatic will give you the shades and tints and tones of the color also. So if you go to a monochromatic, we can see how the colors are changing. You can also have lighter shades of it. In shades, you will most likely see only the darker color shades of the selected color. So these are known as shades. You can also go to custom. In custom, you can simply pick up 5 colors as per your choice. It doesn't really matter what you need. So you can simply change and pick the colors you need here. So you can pick the colors in the Adobe Color using the color harmony rules. Once you like the colors and you wish to save it, you can simply save them to your Adobe Creative Cloud libraries as design colors and you can use it. In case if you do not use the Adobe Creative Cloud libraries, you can also take the colors from here in the hexa code, or you can take the colors in the RGB values. You can note down those values and use it in your design. Currently, you can see the colors are presented in the RGB values, but you can also change the color mode here. You can switch the color mode from RGB to CMYK, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow and black. Then you can also take colors on the basis of hue, saturation and brightness, known as HSB. And you can take the color values as per that. Lastly, you can also take the color values in LAB colors if needed. Most likely you are going to use RGB if you are going to design websites. If you are going to create something to print, you are most likely going to use CMYK. So when we are going to switch back to the RGB, and you can see we have the set of 5 colors here. Similar to music chords, color schemes are harmonized set of colors which will appear pleasing to your eyes. Color scheme is a phrase meaning a certain harmony between colors. In absence of harmony, colors may appear dull or can spoil the look of the website. A color scheme is a combination of colors used for different purposes. There are different types of color schemes. For example, warm, cool, neutral, monochromatic, etc. A harmonious color is a color that lies besides another color on the color wheel. Harmonious colors are used to generate a balanced, unified scheme that one could find pleasing. Warm colors include shades of orange, yellow, and red. Cool colors include shades of blue, purple, and greens. Neutral colors include shades of beige, white, and grey. Monochromatic colors include tint and shades of a single color. First, you should think about the base color for your website according to your theme. Sometimes you may feel stressed out while deciding the appropriate color for your website. There's no right or wrong base color, but you can always try out a scheme, and if you don't like it, start over again. Most websites feature white backgrounds. Sometimes colors like using navy blue or shades of grey are used, with most of the screen being white, just like a page of paper set against the dark background. In some websites, colors like purples, greens, reds are used, often looking more gaudy than professional. Complementary colors can be defined as colors which are directly opposite to each other on the color wheel. For example, red is a complementary color of green. Complementary colors neutralize each other when they are mixed together in equal amounts of making a neutral gray. When a small quantity of color is mixed with its complement, the resulting color is more pleasing to the eye and less intense. Everybody wishes that his or her website should look great. But choosing the perfect hues and shades is more than simply choosing colors that you like. It's a challenge for you to select the best complementary colors for your website. Complementary colors look great together, and thus they make visitors feel good when they look at the website. It might sound a bit crazy, but it's a psychological response by humans. Some complementary colors are red-green, violet, yellow, and blue-orange. Use a contrasting color combination for the background page and the foreground text. Avoid bright colors as backgrounds and use subtle pastel shades instead. When you have selected a color for your background, view your page from a distance of 3 feet. If the text is readable, then you can safely use the color combination. You should also test where the color contrast is sufficient to be read by people with color deficiencies or those monitors having low resolution. If you use color alone to convey message and some users having non-color or non-visual displays will not receive the information. For example, if you have given instructions such as press red button, it will not be useful for people with red-green color blindness. We have seen some of the commonly used color schemes. One more color scheme is called the triadic color scheme, which can be defined as high-energy colors that are made by mixing three colors which are spaced at 120 degrees apart on the color wheel. So once you have decided what will be the base color, you can just draw a triangle with equal sides and pick your other two colors. When you're designing your website and thinking of what colors to use, you should treat colors as important elements, just like navigation images and content. Let's take a look at some of the website layouts so that you can see exactly which colors are used for a particular category of a website. This is a personal website created for a portfolio. The designer has chosen his favorite colors in the website. Here you can see more greens are used in order to create a natural atmosphere. In food websites, reds, brown and colors related to red are normally used. This is a website for children. Here you can see more bright and attractive colors used. Yellows, greens, blues and other such bright colors attract kids. In a corporate or business website, sober colors like whites, off-whites, greys are used. Some of the tips for choosing colors for your website. 1. Use natural color palette. These colors are the most pleasing colors. You can make different combinations of these colors in order to get the desired response from your visitors. Colors that are found in nature are often less saturated and more pleasing to the eye. As a result, they allow the users to focus on the interactions and not be distracted by overly bright hues. For example, if you attempt to focus on the information in a layout with saturated colors, your eye returns to bright colors. In contrast, using yellows and blues creates balance, allowing images, buttons, links, text to come forward. Create a strong contrast between the texts and the background. The best combination is black text on a white background. But other than this, there are other color schemes. Other effective to background colors are dark blue, grey and black. For example, if you're showing any product, desaturated colors are recommended. In the first picture of the product, box is keeping out on the attention, while in the second picture, eyes are attracted mainly to the product. Use at least 3 colors and keep them consistent throughout the website. Chromatic harmony is most important in order to create a pleasant look. It is recommended that a moderate number of colors should be used. 4 or 5 is okay, but more than that will create inconsistency. Think from the point of view of visually disabled people. Consider the fact that some user may be colorblind. So think about color combinations wisely. Keep in mind that responses to color vary according to factors such as gender, age or culture. People of different ages have different reactions. People of older age will prefer sober and restrained colors. Youngsters will, however, prefer more vivid and brighter colors. While selecting colors, a certain amount of common sense applies. The primary colors you might choose for a children's website won't look good for a website of a business or financial institution. In general, blue and white backgrounds are used while making business sites. Pinks are yours while making maternity sites. Greens are used for golf or lawn sites. And reds are used for food sites. When you're deciding what colors to use for text, black text on a white background may appear dull. But it's the best suited and readable to the eye. If you experiment typing yellow text on a white background, it's not only unreadable but also causes eye strain, and visitors to your site will leave your site quickly. While the choice of colors is one of the most subjective decisions in the world of design, it's important to understand the theory behind why you should choose one set of colors over another. Choose colors that your visitors can actually see. Web browsers do not have an unlimited amount of colors available to them. They can show only 256 different colors. Out of these, 216 colors are common in all major web browsers. So it is advisable to use these 216 colors while designing your website. In various countries, the same color may indicate different things. India, white signifies simplicity and purity. International, white signifies bad luck. India, purple signifies dream, fantasy, and royalty. International, purple signifies mourning. In India, red specifies love and adventure. International, red signifies death. India, blue specifies success and calmness. International, blue signifies immortality. India, yellow specifies cheerfulness and curiosity. International, yellow signifies strength and reliability.
What comes to your mind when I say the world of designing? Take your time to answer it.
To my mind, it comes as graphics designing, web designing, interior designing, etc.
Great. What do you know about the world of web designing?
Let's say that I'm selling a product. How will my customers know about it? I need the first point of contact, and it can be an official website. To design a website is called web designing. There are multiple aspects or steps related to building a website, like a user interface, web hosting, web development, programming, etc.
Now that you know that images make your web pages beautiful, let's learn what other elements can we add. Say you are designing a website for a restaurant. Now, designing your web pages with just images will not be sufficient. You need to convert your messages to beautiful, readable forms. This session begins with such parts of a design, typography, and explains its three parts, such as legibility, aesthetics, and readability. Next, it explains color with examples from surroundings and rainbows. It then explains the basics of typography and gives the characteristics of colors. Following this, it explains primary colors, color mixing, additive colors, natural colors, tertiary colors, and the color wheel. After this, it explains the different color schemes such as monochromatic, complementary, self-complementary, and more. Finally, the session ends with a detailed study on color contrast and a few more details on typography and color. Therefore, choose the correct typography and color to create a unique and attractive website.
What is typography in a web designing? Typography is an art of using letters and text in a way that makes a page readable and clear. It's a creative design of text on your web page. That is, we set a style for every page. It involves font style, appearance, and structure, which aims to obtain certain feeling and express messages. That is why we use typography, that is, what type of font we are using, how our images are appearing on the screen, and in what format we are structuring that website or web page that the user can engage with that page, from which we can get the multiple clicks and multiple business on the same page. For that purpose, we use typography, that is a typography. Color. This is an exciting and the most important visual element to play around with within design for creating the attraction. There is an infinite amount of possibilities. We have to source points to see the colors in nature. The sun has been the main source of light for millions of years. There are so many plants and flowers of various colors also available in our nature. All of them appear with their own beauty, so look amazing. Apart from that, there is a lot of beautiful birds like parrot, painted bunting, reptiles like chameleon, rock, stones, animals, etc. All these are the source of colors in our beautiful nature. The second source point is another marvelous beauty of nature, that is the rainbow, which can be seen in the sky just at the end of the rain. The 7 colors of light were first mentioned in the Samba Puran, an old text in ancient India that might go back to 3,500 years ago. In the 13th century, Roger Bacon, an English philosopher, noticed the optical spectrum in a glass of water, but he was unable to demonstrate the reason. The light that we can see is classified to 7 parts that are visual through a rainbow or when the light is passed through a prism. In the 17th century, Sir Isaac Newton, the famous astronomer, mathematician, physicist, and philosopher, explained the visible spectrum, also called as optical spectrum, and discovered the prism can show the 7 colors of the light. Newton named those 7 colors as red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. The primary color of light is red, green, and blue, often popular to identify as RGB. It's applicable for any kind of display devices like TV, computer monitor, mobile, etc. Color is nothing but the result of reaction by photosensitive lens in our eye to the external stimulation in the form of light beams. After entering the eye, the ray is bent and disperses the spectrum. There are 2 primary ways of color mixing at present: additive color mixing and subtractive color mixing. Additive color, it produces a new color by adding individual wavelengths or adding one set of wavelengths to another set of wavelengths. This method is simpler to describe by adding 3 light beams: red, green, and blue. It is possible to achieve a wide range, millions of different colors with different light beam intensity resource. Here, sun is the main source of light. So, when we add all of the different wavelengths of sunlight, we see white light rather than many individual colors. It is called additive because all of wavelengths still reach our eyes. It is nothing but the combination of different wavelengths that create the diversity of colors. Subtractive colors. This kind of mixing creates a new color by the removal of wavelengths from the light, and it occurs because we remove wavelengths at the time of mixing. 3 basic or primary color soft subtractive mixing. 3 basic or primary color soft subtractive mixing are cyan, magenta, and the yellow. When 2 primary dots of subtractive color overlap each other, we can see one primary color of light. Suppose cyan and magenta overlapping each other will produce the blue. Magenta and yellow will make red, yellow and cyan will create the green. Where all of them got mixed produces black. So, the easy way to remember the difference between additive and subtractive color mixing is that additive color mixing is what happens when we mix lights of 3 primary colors, whereas subtractive color mixing occurs when we mix 3 primary color paints material. Characteristics of colors. There is a great relationship between color and human nature. One's mood changes according to the clothing color that other one wears. The influence of color on human life is very interesting. Red, it makes, stimulates, and excites, provides confidence. So, it can be useful for those who are shy or suffering from lacking in willpower. Green. This is the dominant color in nature and often seen as being soothing to the senses, good health, and considered as the color of harmony and balance. It symbolizes hope, recovery, peace, heals eye exertion, and helps to overcome the deprivation. Blue. This is the coldest color. It can evoke feelings of relaxation, calmness, and feels charming. and also signifies the security, stability and reliability. This color portrays impression of mom's love, helpful to decrease nerve strain as well. Yellow, being highly visible color, it grabs the most attention. It can be used in a small amount to draw attention within crowd, such as on traffic signals or advertisements. At the same time, it is difficult to read as the high amount of light gets reflected. Using yellow as a background color on computer monitor can cause eye strain. It is a bright color, energetic, used as a cheerful color. In parallel, generates the angriness and frustration. Before discussion about next two, black and white, the integral part of painting is neutral color. Not regarded as a separate color, better to say, the presence of light or absence of light. They are referred as colors for the sake of convenience. Black, it projects a mysterious aura surrounding the color. It conveys a lot of depth. It projects an impression of perpetuity and enthusiasts, a very subtle image. It absorbs all sorts of light and colors as well. White, all over the world in cultural arena, it symbolizes the purity and innocence. White colored dresses are to convey the spiritual and sexual purity. Most of the stressful personalities like to paint their bedroom wall, at least ceiling, in the white to get a feeling of cleanliness and happiness, because it symbolizes protection, innocence and goodness as well. When light passes through a prism, then we are able to observe 7 separate colors, often called as rainbow. It is important to understand the 3 properties of these important elements. Those are hue, saturation, and value. Hue is the name of a color in its purest form. For instance, cyan, magenta, and green are pure colors. Value refers to the lightness or darkness of a color, so can be described in 2 ways. Color can be tinted by adding white for a lighter version, or shaded by adding a layer of black for the darker version. Saturation refers to the intensity or purity of a color. Mixing with grey and white or black, the color loses its intensity. Tone is the addition of grey to make a color muted. Here I have tried to show in a nutshell all these color features. All those colors are available surrounding our nature are called as natural color or a pigment color spectrum. There is 3 primary colors in pigment or nature color spectrum. Those are red, blue and yellow. In short form, we can say R, B, Y. If you learn the watercolor painting system, you will see a red, blue and yellow are the primary colors over there. Those colors cannot be made using other colors. But using these 3 colors, you can make any other color. If we think about how to match colors or color tone, then we have to know about color wheel, which was prepared and developed for the first time 300 years ago by Sir Isaac Newton. color wheel represents the arrangement of colors on the spectrum based on their relationships. At the same time, helpful in creating color harmony too. If we look after the color wheel, then we get few more useful color schemes theories of color harmony. Depending upon the color placement of color wheel, mixing of two primary colors produces a secondary color. Like red and blue produces violet, yellow and red produces orange, whereas blue and yellow produces green. Similarly, mixing of two secondary colors in equal proportion produces a third-grade color called as tertiary color. Like mixing of green and orange will produce the yellowish green or olive color. Same way, mixing of one primary color and another secondary color also produces the tertiary color. Hi, and welcome to the Adobe Color module. In this module, we are going to see how you can get combination of color for your website design or any kind of designing you want to do. Usually when we get started with designs, we get confused about what type of colors and how many rules we should use, and how to select colors as per the color rules. Often we get confused about what colors should we take as per the color rules, and that's where the Adobe Color can help us. Let's see some beautiful color schemes used in a few e-commerce websites. This is a website. It has a monochromatic color scheme which helps a viewer focus on the product images and differentiate product categories from the other. It's an excellent example of how a color scheme can create variations while still giving continuity. This is the L or L Supply website. With white background and neutral tones, the colors tell a story and provide a great user experience of viewing and buying products. Another example is the Charcoals website. Their color theme is all about colors like blue, yellow, and orange that are adding bright and playful meaning to their website. You can also choose colors for your website according to the industry of your business. Various companies choose to use different colors to identify their brand uniquely. This is because colors are not only an efficient method to grab your viewers' attention, but they are also a great way to communicate emotions. Thus, colors can start building your brand before using a single word of content. No color tells the same story, and that's why popular primary brand colors depend from industry to industry. Typography plays an important role as well. Whether we search for something on our phones or in books or on websites, we are constantly digesting words. We often understand the power of words, but we rarely consider a designer's role in emulating the tone of the words. A designer takes a lot of effort to consider the relationship between the look of the text and what it says. Different moods, atmospheres, and emotions can be set through the choice of text designs. This designed text is called typography. So, typography is the art of arranging text and modifying it to make it appealing and clear to the reader. It involves font style, appearance, and structure. Typography aims to bring out certain emotions and convey messages effectively. In simple terms, typography brings the text to life. There are a few elements that complete the typography, such as fonts and typefaces, contrast, consistency, white space, alignment, hierarchy, and color. We have already looked at colors and themes to choose for designing. Considering colors, color palettes, and color themes while designing, typography plays an important role as well. After colors, choosing the right fonts and font typefaces for your typography in your website design is important. With so many choices of fonts and typefaces, it's easy to get confused. Making the right choices depends on what you are seeking to convey. Most people prefer choosing unique font families when it comes to designing a website for their brand or business. The common font typefaces for web are Open Sans, Roboto, Helvetica, Montserrat, Avenir, etc. We are going to learn about designing tools for a website. When you are designing a website using tools, you can apply these fonts to your text. Apart from the universal or common font typefaces, these tools provide many other fonts for you to choose from. You can always choose a font for your brand that no one has used before. Typography is important to create brand identity, gain readers' attention, and convey the right message. Let's see a few great examples of typography in the world of web designing. rallyinteractive.com/ This website uses a chronic display font typeface. It is a new suite of headline fonts that strengthens the classic sans serif font. Chronic display is ideal for headlines or text that is supposed to be large. Rally Interactive uses regular and lightweight font versions. Then we have childsown.com. They have used Gloria, Hallelujah, font typeface and cursive font. This is contrasting font to the quicksand, sans serif typeface used for the instruction part. Likewise, you can study multiple websites and observe the typography they have used.
We use a lot of text on website, and the concept our designers use here is typography. What do you know about typography?
Typography is an important text designing type that is required when there is text-based content in graphics. It is used to make the text readable and appealing. The arrangement of types involves selecting the font typefaces, font sizes, line lengths, line spacing, and letter spacing, as well as adjusting the space between pairs of letters. Typography also includes using nice colors.